Okay, Miriam, no problem. You can catch the recording later. Let me just shut. One second. Okay. So this meeting is being recorded, and it's important for me to let you know that ao participar desse evento você concede à editora autorização gratuita para uso de sua imagem, nome, interpretação e voz, permitindo que a reunião seja gravada para posterior utilização e exibição a qualquer tempo e lugar a critério da editora. That's the only Portuguese part that I'm going to be speaking today. It's also important for us to know that the purpose of this discussion group discussion is to talk about the prep course of the TKT CLIL. I will mediate the meeting. However, I would like you to participate and share your experiences. I'm not here to talk by myself. So I will need you to collaborate. I will need you to maybe open your mic, your camera if you are comfortable with, or you can use the chat. It's fine. I am checking everything as they go. I'll be asking for volunteers sometimes, so feel free to participate. To get a chance to talk, you can raise your hand. Do you know how to raise your hands here at Teams? If you don't, it's all right. There are 3 dots close to the end of the call, and there is raise your hand, or there is an emoticon where you can react and you can raise your hand like that. So it would be nice for you to raise your hand so we can have an order for when I'm asking for volunteers, but if you don't know how to, it's fine as well. Our time frame is from 5 to 6:30. At the end of the meeting, there will be a link for you to get your certificate. So be sure to stay until the end, or if you cannot stay until the end, be sure to talk to your academic advisor to get the link from them. All right? Our next meetings, we'll have another one in October, November, and in March. And in April, we'll be performing the mock exam. Let's start about the course. The course itself, the entire course is divided into 4 theoretical parts and 1 mock exam. Today, we're going to talk about the test and the knowledge of CLIL and principles of CLIL. And now it's the time for us to participate a little bit. Who is the TKT for? The test overview, how the test is divided. So this will be the other part of what we'll be talking today. Aims, language, communication, cognitive skills, learning skills. Could you please tell me how long does this test take and how many questions are there? You can use the chat, you can open your mics. Who knows? Don't be shy. Adriana is here. Who opened the mic?
Well, I have no idea how long it takes, you know. I've heard about this test before, but I do not know much about it. As a matter of fact, I don't know anything about it, except what I've done already. You know, I've finished part 1, you know, and but about the test, I have no knowledge about it.
All right. It's okay. I don't know if you noticed, but there is a part where it talks about the test, but You can do it later, but we're gonna learn it anyway here. So it's 1 hour and 20 minutes, almost there, Adriana, and we have 80 questions. So if you think about it, it's 80 questions to answer in 80 minutes. You have 1 minute per question to answer. And something that we have to consider is you have the questions in a paper and you have a separate answer sheet for you to copy your answers to. So this is a model of a little bit close to what you'd get in the day of the test, and you do not get extra time to answer it. So if you take longer to copy your answers, it's better if you do it already in the paper, in the answer sheet, okay? So it's a matter of time management while you answer the questions and answer the answer sheets as well. Any questions so far? Okay. What about the results? Sometimes we get worried about, oh, am I going to get an A and B, as all the Cambridge exams are like. But for the TKT, we have bands, band 1 to 4. The idea of this entire course is for you to get the maximum, band 4, of course. That's why we are doing this prep exam. So to get band 4, you'd have to get approximately 87% onwards. And to get band 3, you'd get, if you get 45 to 50 questions correct, you'd be around band 3. That's what we aim here. But hopefully everyone will get band 4. You're going to be ready to take it. Types of questions. This is a test. TKT is teacher knowledge test. Do you think we have open answered questions? Open questions? Yes, no, maybe.
I believe not. I believe all of them are objective.
Exactly. Right. No open questions. So we say there are 3 option multiple choices. We have matching. Yes, as we have an answer sheet, yes, we only have closed questions, objective questions. 3, 4, and 5, option matching, and odd one out. I'm going to show you an example of a question, and you write on the chat or open your mic to tell me which type of question is this. So the first one, can you take a look at this type of question? Which one do you think it is? It's a matching. Does everyone agree with that?
Yeah, I believe it's a matching.
What about this one?
This one is 3 option multiple choice.
There is one key element over there.
Yeah, the wrong answer. Is that it? You're supposed to check the wrong answer, the wrong option.
So this one means the odd one out.
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly. What about this one?
This one is 3, 4, or 5 option matching.
Yes, option matching. And the last one, of course, is the easiest, is the multiple choice.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's what you can expect from the test. These are the type of questions we will have it there. Let's talk a little bit about aims and the rationale for CLIL knowledge. First of all, are you familiar with the Menti website? I have it here, the link. I put it on the chat. Can you click it? Or you can enter menti.com and type the code. There is a question there for you to answer. It's okay, Kasia. Maybe next time you can join us in this activity. So what is important to have in a CLIL lesson? I'd like for you, it's not working? Is it closed? Voting is closed. Okay, it's working now. So as you can see, 2 people have contributed. Nice. Let's wait a little bit longer for the others to join. People have answered. We have 34 people, so let's go. Okay, Kasia, thank you. Maybe when it's not working for someone else, you can do what Kasia did, typed in the website and typed the code. 15 people.
I've tried by the link and it's not working. It's better going by the code.
All right, thank you. Use the code. All right. But as you can see on my screen, this is the bigger the word, the more people wrote. So we've got content, communication, interaction, language. My screen is green. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah.
Looks okay to me.
It's green to me.
It was working before, but now it's all green and red.
Okay, let me try it again. How about now?
It's okay for me. Now it's working.
Working. Great. So this is all of what you have typed in: competence, background, conversation, achievement, culture, students' knowledge, cognitive skills. All of those are great contributions. And it's important for us to know what CLIL is. So a volunteer now, imagine you're trying to explain what CLIL is for a teacher who is starting now. They have never heard about CLIL. What could you qualify what CLIL is? Who can tell me?
I would just say it's the integration of the content and the language. You should kind of have them together in your class. So not developing just the content, not only the language, but both at the same time, like together, connected.
Wow.
I like
Anybody
your
else?
face. Thank you.
I'm impressed. Should I say anything else about that? Because does anyone have anything else to add?
No, I think she summarized the idea of CLIL.
Yeah, that's great. So CLIL is the four C's are also important there, but CLIL stands for Content and Language Integrated Learning. So teaching science, history, geography, but using the language not as an objective, but to use it as a means to an end. And it's important to consider CLIL and the four C's. Who can tell me one of the four C's, or who can tell me all the four C's? A different person now, a different volunteer, someone who hasn't.
Yeah. Critical thinking.
Communication, okay? Communication, contents, theory, okay? And as our friend said, cognition, okay?
Content,
Theory,
communication,
communication,
cognition, and culture.
theory, yes.
Great. So everyone knows about that. Amazing. You're gonna do great in the CLIL exam. And what is content? Give me an example.
For example, now I'm working with the plate tectonics. So this is the content.
So it means geography, right?
Yes, it's a content in geography.
Great. Communication. How would you work communication in a classroom? Carla, great. Circle of life of flowers. Yes, so maybe science, in this case, content. Communication. Is it
Pair
Portuguese?
work?
Pair work.
Maybe.
Using what language?
English.
Dialogues, their participation in class, their questions.
Yeah. Types of interaction where there is communication required. Cognition. Right, Hosanna? The language that is going to be used. Carolina, communication explains something to each other. What about cognition? This one is tricky.
The thinking, that the knowledge that you need to build.
Yeah, great. Cassia, you are on fire. Sharing a lot. Thinking, yes, Adriana. What about culture? What can we work? How can we do it, the culture, while using CLIL?
Like
Yes,
critical thinking, comparisons, finding the similarities between your culture, my culture, different cultures.
Yes.
In my case, we are looking the earthquakes and its impacts in different parts of the globe, because we're studying the tectonic plates and all this kind of content. So
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, awareness of self and others. We have to be, right? Is one of the UNESCO's points as well. Great. What about Biggs and Cow? Was one of the most complex structure that we've seen in the course. We have complex thinking, not so complex. Understanding the difference between them is an important concept for teachers working with non-native students. So what's the difference between them? BICS, social language. Social language, can you explain it? What type of social language are we talking about?
Day by day.
Yeah, the everyday language. Can I go to the bathroom, please?
Yes.
Can you repeat that, please?
Linguistic skills, everyday, social face-to-face interaction, meaningful, cognitively undemanding. It's undemanding and non-specialized. Whereas CALP means academic language. Abstract, complex, evaluating, classifying, comparing. Those are the two different types of languages that we can have in a CLIL environment. I think we've given enough examples, right? So as you can see, this is how it's going to work. We're going to see a little bit of theory and then we do an exercise together, right? I'll give you 10 seconds to answer. 10 seconds for you to think about the answer. When I say, okay, you can either type your answer on the chat or you can open your mic to answer with what alternative you think is the correct one. Is it clear? Thumbs up. Do you need to repeat? So when I show you the questions, can you answer it right away?
No, we have to wait for 10 seconds till you say go.
Exactly. So ready? There will be 6 questions. For questions 1 to 6, choose the best option, A, B, or C. Do you remember what type of question this is? Is it matching? Is it odd one out? What type of question is this?
Choose one. I really can't remember, but choose the correct one.
Yeah,
It's a
multiple
multiple
choice.
choice.
Yeah,
Multiple
multiple
choice.
Multiple
This
choice.
That's it.
is taken out from the mock, from the actual exam. So this is the real thing, right? CLIL is 10 seconds.
Again, multiple choice.
Okay, you can answer it.
Again, multiple choice.
C.
You're fast.
Olha aí, ó, eu sei cantar.
So far,
Então já vou pra outra.
we have no different options here. You can disagree, okay? It's okay if you disagree with someone. Does anyone think it's not answer C?
Ô, pai, esse daqui.
It is letter C. That's the answer. So far, so good. CLIL is an approach with many different methodology. Next, 10 seconds on the clock. Okay.
Letter A.
Anybody else think it's a different answer? Adriana thinks it's letter B. It's okay, Adriana, if you think it's letter B. I'd like for someone to explain why is letter A?
Because we have the term curricular subjects. I guess that reminds me of the idea of CLIL. Develop skills to express ideas in curricular subjects.
Okay.
Because it involves different subjects, not only the language itself, but also geography, history, whatever.
Sure. Charlene asked, what is TTT? And Juliana answered, is teacher talking time. So increasing, getting higher the use of the teacher talking across the curriculum. Is it communication? So what I think Carlos said is the STT, okay. What Carlos summarized is what it is. It is letter A, the answer. Okay? Next, 10 seconds on the clock. Go.
Letter C.
C. Yeah, everybody's answering letter C. And it is letter C. So one of CLIL's aim is to provide cognitive development for learners. Is one of the 4 C's, right? Cognition. So it is letter C. Next, 10 seconds on the clock. Go.
Letter B.
Letter B. Everyone thinks it's letter B, and it is letter B. You guys are on fire. You know everything. The last one. The last one, no, it's 5, number 5. Go.
B.
Nobody disagrees with anyone here. This is getting too easy. You just wait. You will see some disagreement in a little long. Yeah, it is letter B. Now for Adriana, it's okay. The last one for this section, number 6, 10 seconds, go. Okay.
Letter C.
C. Yeah, it is letter C. So far, so good. Any questions about this topic? This is the introduction of CLIL. So let's go about language across the curriculum. Do we need to explicitly teach learners grammar and vocabulary when using the CLIL approach? Yes or no? No, exactly. We do it implicitly. We do it by using. As you can see in all our books in Educate, there is no box, there's no grammar box teaching them all the meta language and everything like that. There isn't. So the focus is understanding the subject content, not the grammatical structure. We try to use chunks of language as well while teaching them language indirectly. But as this test, it doesn't test the teachers on grammatical structure, but it tests us in the subject specific vocabulary. So let's check on how we can aid our students. How can we learn? How can we teach our students to use the language in the classroom? This is a complex question, right? Do we teach them by speaking Portuguese?
I believe. Okay,
Sorry. No, do it. Go.
ladies first.
All right. I believe that when we help them use the language, like repeating what, mostly when they are young learners, they tend to speak Portuguese. And then we naturally repeat that in English and like suggest them, okay, now you. So they repeat it by repeating mostly in the beginning, and then they mix Portuguese and English, make it something like naturally. I don't know that I believe it.
Yeah. Carlos, would you like to share?
Yes, I see the teacher as a model, right? If the teacher uses the language in his classes, right? I guess I believe students will be encouraged to do the same.
That's right. Cassia shared as well, modeling sentences, highlight vocabulary. So highlighting chunks of language, modeling. This is how we can teach them the language itself, but not by explaining the structure of the grammar rules and everything. And allowing learners to be more relaxed as a fun environment for them. Correcting learners by recasting. Who can tell me what's recasting?
I guess it's something related to paraphrasing. For example, if the student says, I don't know to, then I say, well, you don't know either. All right. Something like that.
Yeah. So we try not to reinforce the mistake. We don't say the words that the student made a mistake. We try to say it the correct way so they can internalize the correct way. That's what recasting means. That's the example you just gave, Carlos. That's great. Analyzing errors, so error correction, putting maybe on the board the correct uses of language. We have to encourage students to also, they are being praised by using correctly. And of course, we write the mistakes there so the group can check and maybe rewrite the correct way. So that's language. Let me go back a little bit. So we have highlighting, modeling, allowing students to be relaxed, correcting, analyzing errors, and we have a matching activity right now. So that's how we can teach them language. I'll give you extra time now because we have all the sentences for you to do a matching activity, so you need more time to read. I'll give you the okay for you just to answer number 1. Okay, we are gonna do bit by bit. Do not answer everything, just answer the number 1. You have to match A to G. There's one extra option you do not need to use. Wait a little bit. Number 1, you can tell me what's the letter. The new bridge won't be finished until next summer. What's the letter for that? What is the language for?
F.
F.
1F. Could it be something different? Charlene said letter B. Modal verb. Modal verb because of will. Yeah, will not. But maybe it will fit best in another option. So number 1, it is letter F. Number 2, 10 seconds. Letter G, 2G. Yep. If. Number 3. Go.
B.
Now, there's nothing else over there other than the modal verb of possibility. There might be. Number 4, go. A. 5, go.
E.
E. And the last one could be 2 possibilities, right? It's not that easy. So number 6, what do you think is the answer? You can go. Letter C. Yes, it is letter C. So we do not teach students language, but as teachers, we need to know what we are using in order to use it properly, maybe know the theory, and that's what the test asks of you. You need to know a little bit about the terms of the grammar, but students will not be learning that. Okay? Questions so far? Are we good? Communication. Candidates are tested on their knowledge of and ability to identify types of communication using CLIL subjects. What do you mean by types of communication? Functions. Can you think of examples of how to develop oracy, oral skills, communicative?
Questions, answers, bringing ideas, sharing their thoughts.
Who else can share their opinion? It's okay. It was good. Good sharing, Cassia. Thank you. Before we start a communicative task, we need to think about what? Is it communicative? Are my students going to be able to answer some of it? How about finishing it? Do I have to do a post activity after I have completed the communicative task? These are the things we have to consider when planning. Ooh, scaffolding. Who loves scaffolding? I do. We need to do it in a challenging way, but not in an impossible way. Before we start, we have to make the purpose and the outcome of the communication clear to our learners. They have to be involved in their learning. Identify good rules and timing. This is all for the oral activity, all for the communicative tasks. Assign group, roles. So learner A, organize the material. Learner B, take notes. Learner C, checks all the uses of target language. Student D, reports. So we have to assign roles. And after we finish it, we have to give reflection and time after the talk. How do we do? Could we finish everything? How can we make it better? Progression from closed topic to exploratory, extended talk. So first it was a yes or no question, and then we progressed to something of an open discussion. So that's basically it for the communicative part. We have to know what comes before, and then while, and then after the communicative task. So communication, it will be working like that. So let's do an example, an exercise. It's a matching activity again. So we have examples of learners' language, what they are using, and why, the purpose of the communication, what's the objective of the communication. That's what we are going to match here. So let's see. Number one. You can see the function keys at the top of the keyboard. Is that to hypothesize, check information, define, describe location, contrast, give example, or evaluate? So describe a location. This is why they're talking. The meaning of that is to describe the location. So everyone agrees is letter D. I do not remember if the answer key is going to show the letter first. Let's check. Yes, it's 1D. Number 2. Go. Letter F. What is the key phrase, the key sentence that makes you think is letter F there?
Such as.
Such as. That's clearly an example. 2F. 3. I think I need to change the rhythm. It's too slow. What's the correct answer? You can go.
3G.
Nobody thinks differently, so 3G. Number 4, the sculptures are realistic, but the paintings are abstract. Go.
4E.
Yes, you are contrasting two different things. One is the sculpture, the other is the painting. So it is contrast. I know a pentagon is 2D shape, which has 5 sides. What's the answer? 5. You are defining. Be careful not to maybe confuse with letter D because it's describe. Maybe you're describing the pentagon. However, it's not a location, right? That's why it's not letter D. Sometimes you read it quickly and maybe think it's one letter, not the other. But yeah, 5 is C. And the last one, we think the king would have fought the invaders because we wanted all the power. Six, we think is letter A. It is letter A. No questions so far, right? So when we talk about communication, we're going to need to know what's the intention behind it. Is it to hypothesize, check information, define? That's what communication in the CLIL test is. Cognitive skills. What cognitive skills can you think of? It's very broad, this question. Can you give me an example, someone who has a shared different volunteer? Maybe not. We're all shy. Activities. Okay, if you cannot share what skill, cognitive skill, but share an activity that learners do, which cognitive skills and which cognitive skills they use. Alex and Paola, I don't know if there are two people, but yeah, classify and contrast. Do you think they are cognitive skills to classify something? Alex, could you share maybe an example of a classify activity that you have done with your students? Adriana said predicting. Yeah. Adriana, could you? Yes, thank you, Adriana. Predicting the end of a story, or maybe predicting what you're going to read in a text. Mariani said explain. So read the text and explain what you have read, or explain a concept. Those are really good examples, guys. So I have here activities: label, list, identify, match, name, recite, spell, state facts, tell. All of those are cognitive skills. Carlos, yes, good example. Say what they would do, how they would react. So this is a kind of prediction, maybe. I'm trying to, and our cognitive skills is remembering, recognizing, recalling. So we have the activity and the cognitive skill behind it. The 6 main cognitive processes are remembering. So inside the cognitive processes, we have many activities. Recognize and recall are one of the remembering ones. Okay, Carla, thank you. Understanding. So Mariani said explaining a concept is the cognitive skills of understanding. Give examples, order, predict is a way of showing they understood something. Applying. No, I don't think anybody gave me this example, but applying is a cognitive skill. So carry out an activity, so calculate, experiment, find out. Interview is applying what you have learned in the language part. Research, show. Analyzing. So analyze something, it's another cognitive skills. Evaluating. Give opinion, judge, prove, rate, recommend. And creating, to produce something, is the last cognitive skills. So let's go back. We have remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. All of those are in something that is very familiar to you guys. Bloom's taxonomy. So why do you think is a pyramid? Do you think they are divided equally?
No, it's a process, right? From the bottom to the top.
And the bottom, do you think is the hardest one to do?
No, they're the easy ones.
So it's from the easiest to the hardest. This is a process. So first you recall facts, then you understand why something happens the way it is. Then you apply, analyze, evaluate, and then you create something new, completely new. So when we apply something, it doesn't mean we are creating something. It just means that we understood, and then we are going to do an exercise, for example. So the cognitive skills are very important to more complex to least complex. And thinking about that, we have lots and hots. Lower order thinking skills and higher order thinking skills. If we get back to the pyramid, which one would be hot, higher thinking skill? The one that is in the
Create.
yeah. And the lower process is the
Remember, yeah.
yeah. So teachers develop lots by asking questions to recall information, check understanding, and the HOTS is by asking harder questions. It's to develop reasoning, to create thinking, and evaluate skills. So I'm giving you an example, all right? We have here a picture, and we have a list of activities. The picture is of many vegetables, food groups, and can you tell me which one will be the easiest activity to do? A, B, C, D, or E?
A.
A.
Yeah. Listing the different fruits that you can see, it's the easiest. So would you consider it lots or hots, high or low?
Lots.
Yeah. It doesn't demand a lot of thinking, right? That's the difference between one and the other. Now, find something which isn't a fruit and isn't a vegetable. Where would you put that in complexity? Is it still low, high? Yeah, it's low, it's lots, because you just have to take a look and eliminate, right? And this one, which one would it be? So we have to see which ones are fruits, which ones are vegetables. If you think about this pyramid, which one would it be?
Analyze.
Understand.
I would say understand, because you have to understand what is the concept of a fruit, what's the concept of a vegetable, and you have to say which one isn't. So if you understand the concept, that's the lots of this activity here, letter B. Now, put the food into different groups, and how many different groups can you make? Now you are putting them into categories. Letter D. Can you grow food like this in your country? Why not? Is it lot or hot? Letter D. Now you have to understand a lot of things behind it. So we have to think about the weather. We have to think about many different aspects before we can answer letter D. So this one will be higher. And letter E, create. Take a look at this word, create a recipe. It's high, hot, because it's the last point of the pyramid is to create. Totally. You have to see that. Totally create is high. So letter A is remembering, letter B is comparing, dividing and classifying is letter C. Letter D, predicting and reasoning. I think more of reasoning. You have to list reasons behind why plant in your country, and then creating, thinking, synthesize, letter E. Are you ready to see if it is lots or hots in this mock exam? You're gonna remember me when you're taking your test. You're gonna see, hey, Natalia said lots and hots, and now I remember it. 10 seconds on the clock. Before you start, for questions 1 to 3, look at the cognitive skills and the 3 activities listed. 2 of the activities will be related to that cognitive skills, and 1 activity is not related. Look at the not. So this activity is an odd one out. You have to choose the one that is not comparing. So 10 seconds now. Okay, what's the answer? Are you sure? Letter A? Hello, Lembang Manga.
Yes,
something.
it's me.
Hello.
Good.
So maybe letter C. Carlos, could you tell me why you think it's letter C?
Yes. Can I read the option with C? Okay,
Sure.
please, because I can see it here.
Oh, you can't. I'm sorry. Look at the table about coal and oil, and then list some
I
similarities.
believe the key word is similarities.
Okay, similarities about how they are produced. So you think it is comparing?
I believe it's comparing because it deals with similarities. Well, I don't know.
What do you guys think? It is comparing? Yes, but that's not what the question is asking. The question is asking what is not comparing.
Hey, I got it now. Not.
Yeah, the not. That's tricky, and you have to be extra careful.
So I believe it's letter A.
Yeah, it is. Write down some facts. What comparing activity are you doing here? Writing down facts is not comparing, so the letter A is the correct one. Let's go to the next one. Remember, not predicting. 10 seconds.
What would happen if they...
Okay, what's the answer?
Letter B.
Anybody thinks differently? Which one is not letter B? Yeah. We have keywords for letter A, letter C. Which one is the keyword for predicting letter A?
What could happen?
Yes. And letter C?
Guess.
Yes.
Guess. You can do it by elimination, yeah? So scanning an article is not predicting activities. So you are right. It is letter B. That which one is not predicting? And the last one about this topic, which one is not reasoning? Okay, you can answer it.
Letter C?
Is it letter C? Some people think it's letter A. Okay. Let's take a look. Reasoning. You're going to label. Label is like write the names of the electrical components in a picture. So you're writing the names. The other one is look at the animal word bank, then decide how they are grouped together. And letter C is study the life cycle and then explain to your partner. So reasoning, you have to think about it, you have to understand something, and then you're going to
Pode
give
pegar água pra mim?
reasons.
Pode pegar água pra nós?
So that's why it's letter A.
That's right.
Yeah, label
I
something.
got it.
You don't need a lot of reasons behind it. You just need to understand a little bit and then match. Okay? It is letter A. Questions? Yeah, you just have to copy, right, Tyson? Learning skills. This is the last topic of the night. I know it's a lot of information. The course is a bit long, but it's extremely important for us to talk about that. So can you give examples of keywords related to learning skills, of how a student learns? How do you learn? Do you learn by writing? Do you learn by seeing something? By doing? By moving? Do you need moving to learn?
Drawing?
Okay. Yeah, I don't have this talent. Yeah, you can draw, you can do it, write, read, explain, hands-on.
I learn by listening.
That's great. We have many different ways of learning, and learning skills are that. So there are two big lists of how you learn things. You can plan to learn. You can record results by writing, reviewing work, carrying out investigations, data handling, drafting, editing. We have another list, but I'd like not two volunteers, but one person who is still hasn't talked today to choose one of the topics and explain what it is. Who's gonna be? Do I have to volunteer you? You can use the chat. Lillian, creating. Can you explain what's creating? It's complex. Priscilla, you raised your hands. Thank you, Priscilla.
Yes. So just for me to understand here, because my internet connection is very poor today. You want us to choose one of these topics that are in blue? relating them to learning skills, right?
Yeah, just to
Okay.
explain
Okay.
which one is it? Which one are?
All right. Uh, can I select one to talk about it? That's it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I think specifically because I work with Fundamental 1, né, Fundi 1, I believe that cooperating with others is something really important for the students because especially when we have group works or discussions, it help it helps them a lot, especially when we group the students. We try to mix their levels so we can put the students who are in an upper level and the ones that are in the middle level or lower level, and then they cooperate. This is really great because um, I always tell them sometimes these students, their peers, they say the same thing as I said, but they understand better when it's a friend, when it's a classmate speaking. So I believe that cooperation is a must for kids and teenagers, for everybody, of course, but for kids and teenagers is something that it's a must for them, and they really get excited when they are helping the other students. We can see now because we are also working with hybrid teaching, and sometimes I ask students who are in person to make groups with the students who are online so they can cooperate, and I think it's something very useful for them.
Thank you, Priscilla. Amazing. Very complete description of what you do in the classroom. We had some other volunteers here. Carolina and Agda, thank you. Carrying out investigations. So conduct an interview with people to know something about their culture and cooperating in drafting and editing. So she grouped them in three. And she said, I had a high school student come up with podcasts about things of their own choosing. So it will be a group activity, so cooperating, drafting, it's something important to do, and then editing the podcast. So that's great. And I have another list: estimating, measuring, guessing, note taking. I think Alex said taking notes, organizing information, scanning and scheming. We know how important it is for reading, solving problems. These are all the ways of learning. But this time I'm not going to ask for volunteers. There are differences between subjects such as math and art. We have math, which is objective. So the learning skills are more clear. It's clear. And of course, we have art, which is related to creativity and expression. So the learning skills focus on the process and how they achieve the final product is different. Yeah. So they need to draw using observation skills, senses. We have different types of learning depending on the subject, right? I have here the last mock exam for today. And it's going to be only one question, one tiny question. Are you ready? What learning skills involved in a question like this? 10 seconds. Okay. We have people saying A. We have people saying B. People who chose B, why is the letter B? Who can tell me?
Because they have to get the data that they can see in the pie charts and organize these data in different groups and write down percentages. I
Yeah.
believe that's it.
We have data, it's information, right? So you have 3 pie charts, you have a table, you have to write down percentages, different groups. All of those are different information. They're checking charts. Yes. So you're not here solving a problem, you're just analyzing it. And there's no guessing in this case. You have the information. The information is there. You're not going to guess anything. So that's why the answer is letter B. All right. Questions? Everything that I wrote here, all the materials are from this book. This is the bibliography, the TKT course. There is the CLIL module. Everything that we've seen here is also on our Estela, the Cantum website, in the plataforma de formação continuada. And the most important thing for today, the certificate. You'll be receiving it through the email that you write down there. If you could do it right now, it will only take a minute for you to answer it. I already put in the chat as well. Please do not forget to answer it. Otherwise, you won't be able to get your certificate. I'd like to thank you all for your participating. Your participation was very important here, and we saw that people used the chat, opened their mics, so it was very rich, our discussion. So I'd like to thank you all. And if by any chance you have a problem accessing the link, let me know. You can stay here. But other than that, thank you and see you again in October. 19th of October, we'll have another meeting.
Yes,
Thank you, Alice.
the link.
Could I ask you something? How can we get the book?
You can
Is it
buy the
available
book.
sale?
This book, you can buy it. You can buy it online.
Okay.
That's my reference that I'm using, but of course you have the Cambridge website. It's very rich. There are many different information there as well. Okay. Yeah, Amazon.
The link is not loading.
Can you maybe check your cell phone or?
I'm on a laptop computer.
Let me write down the longer link.
All right.
Maybe it will work. Thank you all. If you're done with your forms, you are free to go. So have a nice evening. But the others who couldn't, you can stay here. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Carlos, could you access through the other link? Bye
Not
bye.
yet.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Well, it's not loading.
Yeah, it's not loading as well.
Can you tell me what the screen shows? Can you write your email here in the chat so I can send you by email? Wait a second, the people who couldn't. Let me stop the recording.